and welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm so glad you stopped by. My name is Joy and I've posted a few videos before, but I figured that this is probably a good opportunity to sit down and film a little tag video that hopefully will give you the opportunity to get to know me a bit better, what you'll find on this channel and what I hope to offer and share. I hope you stick around. Thank you so much for encouragement. I've posted on my Instagram to see what everyone was thinking about me starting a channel, and I got so much positive feedback that I decided I should just take the plunge and give it a try. My first few attempts might be a bit faltering, but I'm excited to see how this goes, and please stay tuned for future videos, vlogs. The first question is, why did you start this channel? This is actually something that I started thinking about quite early on. Last year, I was involved in a booktube channel project with one of my professors, who's also a lovely friend. With a few other students, we created this channel, and it's called Sandstone Pages. It's not directly affiliated with that university, but it was just a way for students who loved reading to share their love of books. And we've not created a lot of videos, but we attempted a few, and that inspired me to really think creatively about video making and sharing our love of literature through film and through creating content of this nature. And sometimes I just like to see different perspectives and see how one can be creative with their love of reading and make it a hobby that is collaborative and engages in a community. I used to own a blog, and so that gave me the desire to discuss books in a sense of a community, and to talk or write in relation to what other people were engaging with and be part of that conversation. I want to create this booktube channel to help me explore my love of reading and help me explore literature and think about reading and art and culture and music and faith, all the things that I love really, in a way that is both deeply fun and creative. I look forward to having a new hobby, I guess. I think this is a very interesting question because it's sort of asking to be innovative or create change into something that already kind of is quite a well-oiled machine. There's sort of a structure to how a lot of booktube channels run, and I don't feel like I'll be creating something out there or shocking. It might be different in the sense of the kind of books I talk about. I think I have a bit more of a varied, more traditional taste in books. That might not be something that you find as much on booktube, but I don't think this is maybe a huge area that I'm just like filling a gap or anything. Maybe in the past booktube had a more focus on new releases, on younger audience readers and things like that, but I think in the last maybe 3 or 4 years there has been a real surge of returning to classics, returning to discussion of older works and books that are, I guess, less on the new releases. It's more to do with sharing the kind of books that I'm interested in, getting recommendations from people with like-minded interests and tastes, and learning to explore my love of art and writing and literature and faith and culture and the intersection between my Christian faith and literature, and how they come together. Something that I really would love to include in my booktube content is really bring in my experience or background having studied English literature to bear on just a little bit on how I approach reading, what I love about studying and learning about English and literature and stories and history. I really had an incredible experience studying literature that I feel like I can't help but talk about it more. But I'm hoping to engage in content that is very aesthetically pleasing. Hopefully, as I develop my skills on YouTube more, I like to explore creating more vlogs, so like doing photography that relates to the kind of lifestyle and content and themes I'm exploring. So for instance, a lot of nature, a lot of the simple life. I might be talking a little bit about my faith. I am a follower of Christ, and my vision of the world is shaped by my faith and being loved by God and knowing his closeness to me, that my whole being is created with a purpose to worship and to love my creator, and that my Redeemer died for me. And so that gives me so much more purpose and hope. And so I think that for me, reading literature and engaging in art, whether it's secular or religious, really can help shape and be shaped by my faith. It's kind of works together. And so I'm really interested in that. That's something else I hope to talk about more. The authors I talk about a lot, I think, will reflect that as well. So authors that I will keep recurring, will keep coming back to, are authors like J.R.R. Tolkien, who I absolutely love. C.S. Lewis very much shaped my whole reading life, I think. G.K. Chesterton, and then a lot of classics. I just love the older books and vintage novels. So one of the other questions on the tag is, what am I most excited for about starting this booktube channel? And I think there are quite a few things that are making me excited about creating a booktube channel. And I think one of them is the kind of content that I might be able to explore, being able to think about creative topics and talking about them with people. I think is just something really exciting to me. And I don't get an opportunity to talk about, I don't know, Rosemary Sutcliffe enough in real life. For me, it's a sort of opportunity to delve into my hobbies and my passions in literature in a way that probably I would feel a little bit more inhibited to talk about freely in real life. Or maybe I would only be able to touch on it in real life on a conversation over tea. But I feel like on YouTube, I can sort of dedicate some quality time with a cup of tea and my viewers who are also passionate about those things to have that conversation in that sort of focused space. I think that this could be a good motivation for me to continue being accountable in my reading life. I studied English literature and writing, and then I did my honours last year on C.S. Lewis and honours thesis. And that was like an incredible 5 years of my life. It was just like so nurturing, and I had some incredible professors and met some great people as well. But I guess now that I'm out of that particular season, I also want to explore my creative interests like my writing, and I also want to be accountable in the kind of reading I do. And so I feel like having a YouTube channel and talking about those things will help me think about those things with intention. So one of the questions is, why do I love reading? And oh my goodness, this is such a good question. I love reading for so many reasons, and I've definitely gone through ups and downs in how much I've enjoyed reading. I've had seasons where I've barely been able to read anything outside of my university curriculum, and reading was a slog. There are always those reading slumps one goes through and feeling like it's a chore, or it's like just something that you do to better yourself, but it's not something you're just so excited about. One of the reasons I find it difficult to express why I love reading is that I find that reading has always been an escape for me growing up. And it was a place for me to escape away from my reality into a different world. And through that reading, my real world was enriched and made more beautiful, romanticized in some way, and I see deeper things in reality through my experience of reading. So reading has enriched me and enlarged my world so much. And at times when I've been felt most lonely or unable to articulate the feelings I've had, reading has given voice to those things. It's given me the tool with which to be able to think about things that I might not be able to think or articulate to myself. And so I love reading for that. And I think I'm going to just put in a few quotes right here for C.S. Lewis, who has so beautifully talked about the art of reading and why reading is so powerful and so beautiful. And I think that makes it, like those quotes, they really epitomize why I love reading so much. And I think reading is so powerful because it holds so much possibility. I just love that there are like birds chirping in the background, and it probably is really loud, but I hope it adds to the ambience of this video. The author I feel like who captures my childhood and my love of reading the most would have been Patricia St. John, and she's one of my favorite authors of all time. even to this day, but I think she does something so special for younger readers. Her books, Treasures of the Snow, Rainbow Garden, Star of Light, Nothing Else Matters, I Needed a Neighbor, The Victor, Tangleswood Secret. All of these are incredible. She just has a powerful way of conveying experience of childhood, experience of youth, with such depth and maturity and understanding of the real spiritual and emotional hunger and needs of a child, and the way she integrates and weaves faith and spiritual Christian discipleship with the journey of growing up and growing pains, and also her depiction of nature is just so incredible. All of those things is just so powerful, and the way she combines all these things. Her writing is very enchanting. It's very magical. A lot of her stories are set either in Switzerland or in the Alps or something like that. It's very connected to nature, and they really shaped my imagination growing up deeply. The other books, I guess, that really shaped my imagination were The Chronicles of Narnia by C.S. Lewis. The Narnia books are so magical, so enchanting, and so filled with wonder and hope. And C.S. Lewis's imagination just is incredible. I can't even put words to it, and it's so enchanting. And I think what is incredible is the way Lewis's depiction of Aslan. Truly, I fell in love with Aslan as a teenager, and as I fell in love more with the character of Aslan, it made me want to know more about my love for God and Christ. The connections I saw with Aslan and the Lion of Judah kind of just sort of came to life, where you have the children learning about the faithful discipleship and faithful following of the commands of Aslan. So, for instance, the signs that Jill Paul had to remember, or in Horse and His Boy, where Aravis had to learn humility and repentance, and Shasta had to learn that we're only told our story, we're not told anyone else's story. So, all of these stories shaped my imagination as a kid, but I guess I forgot to mention one of the main kinds of books I read as a kid was reading biographies. My dad and mom were very much of the mind that reading accounts of saints and heroes of the faith and historical figures who embodied true courage and faithfulness and integrity would inspire me in my own character building and spiritual formation. George Mueller, Hudson Taylor, Gladys Aylward, Elizabeth Eliot, Amy Carmichael, Dietrich Bonhoeffer, Corrie ten Boom, they all kind of had a significant influence on my life, I guess. So one of the questions is what kind of questions I would ask my favorite booktubers, and I thought instead of just saying asking any question, because I don't think I have a specific question for any of them, except maybe how did you become so confident in talking on camera, because I'm not confident, I'm not myself, I'm just bumbling and figuring it all out. But I guess I feel like that comes with practice and experience in being more confident in the space. So I won't ask that question unless you have some advice, in which case please leave it in the comments below. I'd be so honored. But I think I'll just leave a list of favorite booktubers that I love on here, and I'll just put it in this list. Some of them are people I actually follow primarily on Instagram, but they also create some YouTube content. And here's another little list of people who create podcasts or other kind of content that I'm really inspired by in this little bit. So these are people who I'm really have been deeply inspired by, and I'm grateful for their content and just inspire me in different ways. Maybe the content they create, the books they share, sometimes just the aesthetic, the vibes that you've given me have offered me countless hours of pleasure throughout the years. So I'm really grateful for that. Final question. Okay, so this one is very interesting because it's asking me what kind of books do I like to read. And I feel like you will find out as I share more videos on this channel, and I'll be sharing my reading stacks and reading piles. And I've already kind of hinted at the kind of content I'll be creating. It's very focused on older books and authors. So J.R.R. Tolkien, C.S. Lewis, the Oxford Inklings, and those who are writers of the Christian imagination. I think that they are ones I'm very drawn to. Books from the olden days always will attract me. So some of my favorite authors are the Victorian authors. I also absolutely love Jane Austen. I love Agatha Christie. I love Russian literature. But I will be talking a lot about the older vintage authors like Rosemary Sutcliffe and Elizabeth Gouge, Daphne du Maurier, Virginia Woolf, Catherine Mansfield, T.S. Eliot. So all of that. I do love some contemporary novels, but they are rare, and I tend to gravitate towards two different genres. So I really love historical fiction, and for me personally, I find that I often get interested in a historical period because of a historical novel I read, so I love that. The other genre I really love, fantasy, the fairy tale, and the more fantastical genres. Things that capture the imagination and take you to different worlds. And then the other genre I really love, which I guess fits in with historical fiction to some degree, because a lot of historical fiction is also mystery or thriller narratives, and so I love those genres. I love to watch them as well, so I think that's something that I'm always drawn to and I gravitate towards. The other quality I'm always looking for in fiction is a sense of literary caliber, so a lot of literary fiction falls into that genre. I'm also a big fan of some genre fiction. So I think I'm very open to all kinds of genres, but I think for me, what really matters is the writing needs to have that sense of excellence, artistic endeavor, and masterfulness, and the ability to sort of comprehend our world with certain light. So I'm always drawn to that kind of writing. I always love poetic writing. It needs to have a sort of nice balance of those, of the sort of well structured writing that makes sense and moves at a good pace and is driven by plot and character and the development of a good story, but is also very aware of poetry within word choices, and poetry within the way phrases are constructed, and also captures through language the human experience. And so when those things are combined, I'm like celebrating that kind of writing. I look forward to sharing this kind of content on my channel. I look forward to all the different kinds of videos that will be forthcoming. I would love to hear what kind of content would you like me to create. I'd share in the comments what inspires you, what kind of books you like, or maybe anything that resonates for you in this newbie tag. And I'm really excited to share more content in the future, and so I hope you stay tuned. Please subscribe below to this channel, and you can follow me on my other social media outlets. So I've got Instagram, where I share a lot of book content. I share on Twitter as well. Please follow me on those sites, and I look forward to seeing you all very soon. And wherever you are in the world, may you be blessed and refreshed in your reading life, in your life as you walk on this journey. I hope you have a lovely day, dear readers.